So this video is going to be the second installment or the second example of what makes a good paragraph answer to a text-based question, which you know is the CER, Claim Evidence Reasoning Method. Everything in this video also applies to a full essay. So let's get started. In class, we took a look at a first draft answer to a prompt and then the second draft answer to the prompt. So I would encourage you at this time to pause and read the answers. In class, we talked about what made this gray one better. We started by noting here in yellow, this seemed to be a claim statement, and we knew that because it has the word because. You see this red arrow here. We also noted that in this left one, this first sentence does not clearly seem to answer a question. We're not really sure what the question is, mostly because this word he, it's not specific. We don't know who he is. The second sentence here has the word they. We don't know who they are. So one thing we want to be very careful about when we're answering questions is to use as specific words as possible, especially in the very beginning. So returning to this gray answer, we see the claim here. We also saw that there were some evidence statements. So we have a citation here. We noted that there were some quotation marks, which indicates that this stuff here in the middle came right from the text. We also saw this has two more small snippets of evidence and another citation. Over here, there's some quotations. There's one quotation mark, and here's another quotation mark. But there's no citation. It doesn't give us any indication about what this is doing. But over here we have this blue that's before and after our evidence that seems to explain what this evidence is showing and how it proves this point up here. So this paragraph in gray seems to follow the CER method, whereas this first draft did not. So we took a further second to take a look at how do we know? How do we know this is a good answer? Well, we can tell because we know exactly what the question was based on the claim. Everything before this because was the question. Why did the HG men take Harrison away? The HG men took Harrison away because. And then everything after this because was your answer. It was your reason. It was your thought. It did not come from the text. It was inferred from the text. So we took a second and talked about what makes a good claim or thesis. They are the same thing. So you can call it a thesis. You can call it a claim. It means the same. It is the sentence that answers the prompt. And yes, friends, it needs to be one sentence. Anytime you are writing more than one sentence for a claim, that means the prompt is so complex you need more than one sentence to answer it. And that also means your essay is going to be more than 3 pages long. Most of your high school prompts do not do that. Number 3 is one of our goals for the year. We want to make sure we have a word like because in your claim so that you can distinguish between what the prompt was and what your reasons are, what your answer is. Also, a claim in a one-paragraph answer is going to be the very first sentence. A claim in a multi-paragraph answer, like an essay, is going to be the last sentence of your intro paragraph. So the last sentence of your first paragraph. So again, here is our answer. It does a great job of following all those components of a claim. When we look at evidence, we know that it should come directly from the text. We want quotation marks word for word from the source that you're using. And it needs to have a citation. So it needs to say what page or paragraph number it came from. And if you're using more than one source, then it needs to tell the last name of the source that it came from, the last name of the author. Number 3 is our goal for the year. We want to make sure we are picking the best evidence. It actually needs to relate to that claim topic or the topic sentence of your paragraph. So what is it that you're talking about? Let's find the 1 or 2 sentences, not a whole paragraph of text, that shows that topic. and we want to introduce it. We don't want to plop and drop. So if we look here, this paragraph does exactly that. We have a citation here, paragraph 42. We have a citation here, paragraph 47. We have direct quotes. Those are words right from the text. We also can see that this information relates directly to this notion of this character, Harrison, being a threat. So it does all of the things it needs to do. And last but not least, we want to talk about reasoning. There are two kinds of reasoning. You want to include them both in your responses. So we want reasoning to provide the context and the connection of that evidence. So what is context? It's what's happening in this moment in the story. Especially if we're reading something that's very long, you want to make sure that your audience knows exactly where in the text this is happening, where in the plot line, where in the character development. The connection is the part that really makes that clear, how this evidence proves your point. Evidence never speaks for itself. If that were the case, then lawyers would not be needed in this world. So you, as the lawyer of your piece, need to provide that connection. How does this prove what I'm trying to prove? So if we look in our example, we know that we're trying to show that the HG men took Harrison away because he was a threat. So here we have some context, what's happening in this moment. Afterward, there's some context of what's happening in this moment. But the green is making this connection. How do these pieces in yellow show that he was a threat? And it really does a nice job doing so. So in conclusion, your paragraphs should all be 4 to 7 sentences long because it needs all of these components. And that would also mean that you would have these components, claim, evidence, reasoning, in an essay. So your claim would be in your introduction, but you would also have a topic sentence in every paragraph.